It happens. Sometimes you have to go to the loo.
Yes. What was that?
It happens. Sometimes you have to go to the loo.
All right.
Yes. What was that?
There
What's
we
that?
go. Just kick back on the audio. You know, nothing's going to go smooth with technology. Anyways, what are we doing, guys?
Not with you in the room.
No, of course not. Not with you.
That's really why we were running late, because this thing kicked me off about 4 times. So, anyways, let's talk again about that intro real quick. I forgot again we had that sexy little croissant of ours. Pierre outdid himself again. Gosh dang it, that looks
beautiful.
Good.
Beautiful. So beautiful.
So what are we doing, boys? What have y'all been up to?
You know, I just woke up from a nap, so I'm running slow. You know,
that's fair. That's
Kristen
fair.
says that Josh's stuff didn't work, which is accurate.
That's the story of the day, always. So anyway.
Yep. And they're already discussing. So yeah, I titled the video today. People might be confused about what I'm talking about. Just how many notches, but if I put in how many people did Billy kill, or like how many people did Billy really shoot, things like that, it would hurt. I might get like censored by YouTube. So I had to be creative about what to title the video, because they don't like words like die and kill and things.
On the agenda is how many notches were in on Billy's gun. Is that what we're talking about today?
Yeah. But I didn't want to put gun, kill, or die in the title, or it would have been frowned upon by the YouTube authorities. Hey, where'd you put the notches? Did you put it on the barrel? Did you put it on the grip?
It was on the grip, wasn't it?
I think the grip. I would go the grip.
Be the easiest part, you think?
Yeah. Yep, I think so. And that came from a question. Is that correct? I think that's kind of how we're doing this.
Yeah, and our friend Kathy, who so generously dropped $10 earlier for the show, which is awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. But she said, she commented a day ago on one of my posts about a book I was reading. She said, I wish you would talk about who Billy killed. I know about the 4 confirmed kills, but I would love to hear opinions on who else he may have killed. All the incidents where he was there and he and or other people shot someone. So yeah, I thought that would be a good topic to discuss. A lot of times,
it's a good topic.
it's easy for us to get lost in the weeds a lot, because we spend so much time, myself at least, researching really specific, off the beaten path kind of stuff, and we sometimes forget to talk about just the the stuff that's right in front of us, which things like how many people did Billy kill, and a lot of questions like that. It's good to get back to those and kind of go over some stuff.
Sure.
Which is not a cut and dry topic. I mean, some people think like the number would be set in stone, but I think if we all took a quiet poll here, we'd probably all come up with close, but maybe different numbers.
Yeah, I've got my list that I'm anxious to discuss.
I have mine as well.
What do you think, gentlemen? Should we discuss some business first and get that out of the way so we can then dedicate the rest of the show to cussing and discussing?
Absolutely.
I pass the floor to the gentleman from the Texas Panhandle.
But don't say that out loud.
Sorry.
Man, let's talk about the coalition convention. Holy shit. So I threw, and guys, I know you gentlemen know this, but I threw that ad up there probably a little premature. I mean, we were ready to roll. It looked good, but I wanted to kind of test the waters a little bit. And son of a gun, man, it blew up. It's gotten bigger than we had originally planned, which is good. Support has been crazy. James, you're managing the tickets. Have we maxed out yet on that, or where are we at with that?
Yeah, honestly, I think we're about 31. So we've gone over the cap.
Right. Okay. I mean, that's great.
Well, we just again, this would be a good spot to say that flyer was designed by Pierre, who so graciously did our intro. So he's just really showing up for it all.
So yeah, let's
Ready?
man, I'm really kind of speechless because and Jeremiah and I kind of on the side talked about this when we first thought about doing this back in when we were doing Stinking Springs back in October. One of us looked at the other one and laughed and like, nobody's going to show up to this crap. Like, if we do this, who's going to come? I think it was Jeremiah that said it, and I'm like, there's 3 or 4 people. Paul loves us; he'll come. It was kind of that
Paul
deal.
Be there.
Paul will be there, and then lo and behold, we have not done hardly any advertising other than what's been on our page, and man, we've sold out already. So obviously, the people that are part of the event, the authors and the musicians and stuff like that, obviously we've got them covered. So I don't want any of them watching this freaking out that they haven't bought their ticket yet. But just as far as general ticket sales, I'm afraid we're capped, and I hate doing that. But when you're feeding people, and Amy is hosting this at her home, we kind of had to keep the numbers somewhat respectable. So I hope everybody will kind of understand that. But yeah, I'm just stunned. I'm really impressed that it's had that kind of reaction from everyone. I'm actually really shocked. I didn't think we were that popular. We're probably still not. I mean, there's 30 people that like us, but
Yeah. So everything in Lincoln, you got to keep in mind it's going to be on a smaller scale. There's only so much we can really accommodate. And yeah, like you said, I thought if we had 7 or 8 people who want to come hang out with us, that was going to be a good time. And it was like we advertised this and put it out like so many months before the event, and all of a sudden it's like, wow, there's a lot of people wanting to come to this from all over the place too, which is really cool.
Yeah. Oh, I got lots of bourbon, brother. I bought 2 bottles last night. They won't make it that long though.
No shortage.
No shortage. Yeah, I'm like I said, I'm stunned. I figure let's do a little bit of housekeeping and kind of cover, because I feel we're asked a lot of questions about what's going on and what to expect, and obviously there's 6-7 months in advance to get this planned out. But I thought, if y'all want to, let's go over a rough itinerary real quick as far as what we're going to do.
Yeah,
answer some questions for some folks as far as what to expect. So without listing a time for, or the actual time of day, we're going to start out Saturday morning, which is the 20th. We'll do a little meet and greet at Amy's place at the Ellis House. From there, we're going to go and we're going to do a tour of Lincoln, which I'll give that. Might have some help from a few other folks, depending on who all wants to jump in on that. We'll do a really good tour of Lincoln. It works out great because the Ellis home is at the far end of town, so we can literally just start there, work our way up to the courthouse, and then work our way back. So it works out perfect. Anyways, once we do the tour, we'll go to the church. We'll do a meet and greet with the authors. We're going to have a group of historians and authors there that are going to take questions, do book signings. So that will be good. After that, we'll probably break for a little bit, let people do some touring on their own. We'll provide a lot of information for that. Meet back at the Ellis house afterwards. We're going to do the dedication for the stone to mark Amy's house, the Ellis house. And then after that, we're kicking it over to our boy Aaron, and him and James and some other musicians are going to entertain us for the rest of the night. So that's the rough gist of the first day. And then the second day, we're still fine-tuning some details, but the second day we'll conclude at Stinking Springs, and I'll do a guided tour of Stinking Springs as well. So that's roughly kind of what we're looking at for the weekend. That could change. It's fluid still, but that's kind of where we're at. You guys got anything to add to that, or anything that I forgot?
We're going to block off some time for like personal exploration too, as well, on that Sunday. Is that right?
Yeah, we're going to meet Sunday morning. Again, coffee with the coalition, some stuff like that. I've got another speaker lined up that I need to get locked in for that Sunday morning. And then after we do that, then we'll break out again for some more tours. And then a group of us are going to meet up in Fort Sumner and then go to Stinking Springs. So yeah, Sunday will be a good day for people to get out and really kind of see some of the stuff that we're giving them information for that's outside of Lincoln itself.
When you say give them information, what are you talking about there?
So I don't know, Jeremiah, what do you think? 2 to 3 weeks out, we're still ironing that out. We're going to send out a welcome email detailing everything that's going on. And in that email, We'll give detailed instructions to a handful of historic sites, again, outside of Lincoln, that these guys and girls can go and view on their own time. Blazer's Mill, for example, is one of them. The Tunstall murder site is another. There's a handful of others that we're still putting together. But yeah, they'll have the opportunity Sunday to kind of go and explore that on their own.
Yeah, and that's really important because all of us are coming to Lincoln. It's not often, I would say for all 30 to 40 of us that we get to go to Lincoln. So we want everybody to see all of the pertinent sites, but just logistics wise of getting, a cargo van or two and going to all these sites, you would have to almost make it a week-long event, and so in my opinion, blocking off time to let people choose what they want to see, give them explicit directions to get there is kind of a good approach, in my opinion.
Yeah, and Jeremiah, when we went to Tunstall's murder site? I mean, that's a half a day deal, if I remember right. So it's kind of hard. If I did guided tours to all this specific stuff, you're right, it would be a week long deal, and so yeah, that's hard to do. So we'll get this information to people 2-3 weeks in advance. So some of them are coming early. If they want to kind of explore this stuff on their own before the event or after, that's certainly on them. But we'll get all that to everyone in plenty of time and let them kind of pick and choose what they want to see. Everybody's also got my contact information in Jeremiah. So if there's things that we're not providing information for that they're interested in seeing, we can certainly help them out with that also.
Yeah. And Paul's 100% right. Lincoln will steal your heart. It's amazing. It's magical.
There's magic there. Yeah. I think everybody's going to be really impressed whenever we send out I don't know, for lack of better words, the welcome packet a couple of weeks. We'll try to do it maybe a month. I don't know. But we're working on something really cool. And by we, I mean Pierre has worked out a really cool guide for all these locations that are, the key Billy places that everybody wants to see. So you'll have map and really an awesome way to navigate there and kind of get the history behind those places that we're going to send out to everybody to kind of do on your own before or after and sometime during. So I think it's going to be quite impressive.
And for everybody in the chat, this is our beloved Pierre Delacote. He says, let's just make it a week long.
We could do it 2 weeks and still not do everything. So let's absolutely.
Thank you so much, Colby Jack. Thank you. Another $10. Appreciate that.
Thank you. This just so folks know, this will include dinner that Saturday night. We'll feed everybody. We'll have some breakfast stuff for everyone as well. Folks will probably need to have some plans for other meals and whatnot. Kind of ask everybody to bring some lawn chairs if you can, just because seating is kind of limited, but it's going to be a good time. I can't wait.
Yeah. And like Brett says he's driving down from Denver, probably going to get in the area if anyone wants to meet up. That's something else that could be cool is folks, pulling together and doing some little small group tours and things like that. I know, I'm coming from West Virginia. We've got a lot of folks coming from the East Coast. And I was even like, if we want to coordinate at some point and caravan out, follow each other out, make sure everybody gets here good and stuff like that, working together and doing this thing together is a great idea.
Right. Yeah. We got, Pennsylvania. We've got 2 people coming from overseas that I know. Pennsylvania, some tickets from North Carolina, Denver, all over, man. New Jersey. So yeah, it's far exceeded what I was expecting. When they come there, of course, they'll get their shirt when they arrive. The ticket price of the $30 comes with a shirt. James, I sent that to you. Can we throw that up there so folks can kind of get an idea of their t-shirt that they'll get when we arrive?
I never got it. I don't know what you're talking about.
You lying ass.
Look at that.
So yeah, it's pretty sweet. Again, that's a combination of Pierre's design and Mel's artwork, so it looks pretty good. In fact, I'm probably gonna get mine early, start wearing it just so I can show it off to everyone and piss y'all
off. Selfish,
I know. But yeah,
right, gentlemen.
That's what we've got.
What's next on the agenda?
Well, let's showcase, do a little bit of self promotion here.
Shameless.
I know, I'm not denying it. Everybody's probably sick of hearing about my Poe book that I've been working with for about a year and a half. I'm sick of hearing about it. I'm sick of thinking about it. I'm sick of looking at it. Jeremiah and James are probably sick of helping me edit it. So with that in mind, it's in its final stages. John LeMay has it. He's putting it together now. We've got that. We'll be out. I'm going to guess April, May. I hate to guess because I'm always wrong on things, but through Amazon, they're pretty quick. So we've got the cover done, James. If you'll show that, let everybody kind of see that.
Look at that.
Ain't that beautiful?
Yeah, I'm pretty excited
Did
about
Pierre
it.
do this too? Is there something Pierre didn't do?
So yeah,
Who
we
did the
had
cover?
it was Pierre. It was Pierre.
Yeah, of course it was Pierre.
Pierre.
Man's a genius.
Man of many talents. So yeah, it's I'm excited about it. We'll have it on our store to sell. Obviously, if you order it off our store, I can do an autographed copy if anybody wants one of those, or it'll be available on Amazon, Ingram, all
That's
those.
okay.
Yeah, I get it. Just order from Amazon. You'll get quicker service. I understand. So yeah, so that will be available to pre-order pretty soon, and hopefully within the next month to 2 months, it'll be out.
Awesome.
What else do we got, gentlemen, before we start fighting?
I'm good.
So the journal. Talk about that real quick.
Yeah, James, talk about the journal. And he's out.
Anytime we create a deadline and say this is not going to be too difficult, we'll have this done in a week or two. It turns into 6 months later, we're trying to figure out why the hell it's not done. And to be really fair and make sure that not one single person unjustly takes the blame for this, it's going to be pretty much all James's fault. It's not out yet.
It's actually all James.
It should be out. I think it's done. I tried to be generous, but yeah, it's all his. I would think we should have it pretty soon. Now, for those of you that absolutely cannot wait, the hardback version is out. It's available on Amazon. You can search it. We'll share a link. I think going forward, we'll probably only sell the journals individually on Amazon. It just makes it easier for shipping. They are who we use for publishing. So you can get the journal. Look at that sexy beast right there. Yep. You'll be able to get the journal on
And
Amazon if you can't wait. If you
that's all the
remember,
beautiful work of Matt Carr right there.
Yep.
Amazing journal.
Matt Carr.
And this image, and we talk about it inside, this image courtesy of Waddell. He owns a first generation original copy of the tintype that he's been pretty conservative with who he lends it out to for publication purposes. David Thomas's book is one of the only other ones that I know he lent that to us, so we're very grateful for him. 100 pages, man. I can't wait. I've been lucky. I've got, of course, the paperback. I've got a hardback, the proofs. The hardback's beautiful. Somebody reached out to me today and asked if it was worth buying the hardback. I think it is because it's great quality. It looks good. But yeah, the hardback is ready right now. James,
members, you should get yours before the end of the month.
Yeah, I don't see why not. Anybody that's dealt with Amazon publishing, they know that it's just it's a finicky thing, and small little details matter in the publishing process, and little things get knocked off and they kick it back. But it's coming. It's just a matter of checking a few more boxes. What else, boys? Anything else about the journal we forgot? Okay. We'll mail those out. The return time seems to be a little bit quicker. It seems to be a couple weeks for me getting those. So hopefully if we can get that approved and finalized and ordered within the next couple days, which shouldn't be a problem, we'll go from there. So I hate to pick a deadline because I'm always wrong, but soon. Be patient. Soon.
Yeah, I'll share my screen and show y'all what the problem is if y'all want to keep throwing blame. Y'all keep throwing shade like that, and we'll do a real-time walkthrough.
Put everybody to sleep with the Amazon self-publishing process. Go ahead. Skyrocket our viewers. Oh, let's talk about Billy the Kid. I'm tired of this business shit. What are we going to talk about again?
How many people did he kill? 21, I think.
21, not counting Mexicans and Indians. That's
21.
Just
21.
to see him kick.
All right, let's do this. Give me a max number, James. What do you think a max possible number is?
Max possible number, including group events.
Right.
Max possible 7 or 8, I'd say.
Okay. Jeremiah, do you got a number?
I do, and I put it into two categories. I put it into confirmed, likely, and possible. Well, three categories if you can't math very well. It's tough to say. If I had to say that his bullet pierced them, probably 7. I feel comfortable, maybe 8.
Okay. I went a little higher. I went with 11. That's the figure I came up with. Now, again, that's including everybody in that figure, group killings: Brady, Heineman, Morton, Baker, McCloskey, the Indian, him and Chavez took part in. Of course, the 4 confirmed that we've got. I'm gonna, and James, I know we've talked about this on the show a few times. I'm gonna take the somewhat controversial role that he could have been responsible for Buckshot Roberts' death. Almer Blazer gives a really compelling account that says that he spoke with Buckshot Roberts and that Roberts said that it was the kid that killed him. So, you've got Coe that contradicts that, of course, which Coe contradicts and says a lot of weird stuff. And you've got the postmaster, David Easton, that said it was also Roberts. But if you also read his account, he hauled ass and was hiding about 100 yards away during the gunfight. So I don't know how much credit I give him. So I don't know. I put Buckshot Roberts as a serious maybe, along with maybe the Indian Segovia. So 6 possible, maybe as many as 11, I think is the number I came up with.
Okay. So Brady, well, Wendy Cahill.
Right.
Yeah.
Brady,
Mm-hmm.
Morton and Baker, Buckshot, whether he did or he was definitely there.
Right.
Good Lord. Joe Grant,
Mm-hmm.
Ollinger and Bell.
Mhm.
That gets us up to 8. The Indian, did I say that already?
No, you didn't.
Segovia.
So there we are at 9. I can't think of anyone else that it's even rumored that he killed. Unless obviously I could be missing something hugely central to the whole thing and just not thinking about it. But what I kind of leave room for is there's the Old West. Like, he could have killed people that we don't even know about. It's just hard to say back then. But there were a lot attributed to him, like Billy Matthews, for instance, who didn't even die till much later on. And there was a cowboy, I don't think it was Buck Powell, but it was another guy. They actually gave his specific name that Billy was supposed to have killed after he escaped, and again, not true. So I don't know who else he could have killed, though, other than those.
Yeah. So I did the 4 accepted ones, of course.
Carlisle, Declan threw up Carlisle. So that's like 10 right there. That just
well, that takes me up to 12 then, because I forgot about Carlisle. The 4 accepted ones: the Indian, Buckshot Roberts, Morton, Baker, McCloskey, Brady, Heineman, and Carlisle.
Yeah.
Oh, and Joe Grant. So 11. Okay, 12. God dang it, I don't know.
27. We got that's 27.
All right, let's just go back with the 21 number, so we're covered. But yeah, do I think he definitely was the sole responsible person for those 7 or 8 over the number 4? Obviously not, but I don't feel. I really don't think that he was responsible for Carlisle's death. It just, to me, it defies all logic. Go ahead.
Bob Beckwith, they say.
I mean, that's true.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's enough.
I don't think he did.
Yeah, no.
But,
I mean, I think there's enough to say no. But legend, I guess, does say that. James, I think I know the answer to Kristen's question, but do you? That way, I'm maybe not saying it wrong.
My hypothesis is
a
I
catchy
think
number.
even Billy probably. I think Billy even probably helped that myth along. In my opinion, in that world, a lot of times your bravado and your reputation, if it preceded you, it kept you from getting into a fight altogether. So I bet he, often boasted, I've killed a man for every year of my life and things like that. So that's just my personal hypothesis. No sources or anything to support that. It's just what I think.
Now, it appeared in, I don't know, help me out, James, the Santa Fe, New Mexican or the Las Vegas Gazette. I know the number 21 was credited to him in maybe an 1882 article.
Yeah.
I think I did a post on it a while back, and I think in print that's the first time that we saw it was maybe 1881, 82 in the newspapers. But again, like you said, where did that come from? And I don't remember the editor of the paper that time that wrote that, but it could have just been something to sensationalize because that's what the news does. Maybe.
Real quick off the subject, but maybe Paul could shoot us an email and we could work with him on that. He says he booked a hotel in Roswell for the weekend but didn't make it in time to buy a ticket. So we can, we can talk to him on the side and maybe work something out for him.
Paul, lack of planning on your part, sir, does not. Okay, I'm just playing. Yeah, we'll figure it out, Paul. we'll figure it out.
We'll work it out, Paul.
Yeah.
Shoot James a message. He's been wrangling the ticket sales, so shoot James a message and we'll figure out a way to make it happen for you. We won't exclude you.
Yep. And
so
go ahead.
On that list, did George Hindman make the list?
He made mine.
Forgot about not mine. I forgot about him.
James, I don't think you missed it. You made him on your. I don't think you made your list.
Right.
Yeah. And if you, I don't remember the source, but I think David Thomas talks about it. Billy was quoted as saying he was shooting at Matthews during that exchange, which would certainly make sense considering the two of them almost got into it, a week or two leading up to that event. So, and their hatred was pretty well known. So, maybe that's true, but yeah, he did make my list.
James, you put McCluskey on your list. How'd you arrive at that one?
Did I?
Did you? I thought you said McCluskey.
I did.
Well, I mean,
Did you, Josh? Were you the one that put that on there?
Well, yeah, and I included
a lot
in
of
the
times.
possible. Go ahead.
What I'm including too is I'm including the killings he was present for as a group. Like as a group, they're responsible for killing McCloskey, Morton, and Baker.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if we're going to go that far, we need to throw Chapman on the list too.
That's a good point. Yeah.
I mean, I guess in theory, yeah, we know that he had no ill will towards Chapman and considered he
was certainly present for the killing. I think that's the consensus.
But yeah, he was present.
On record, how many do you think he killed directly? Just him, one-on-one, Cahill, Joe Grant kind of scenario.
4.
I mean, I think we can only say that Cahill, Ollinger, Bell, and Grant, right?
4. Yeah.
We got to leave it at 4.
Yeah.
Segovia is probably a very good possibility. I think him and Chavez probably both took part in that. I think you could say that he was responsible for maybe 5. After that, I think no speculation.
I don't think anybody could argue that Morton and Baker, undoubtedly, bullets from Billy's gun probably entered their body amongst 10 or 11 other regulators at the time. But I think it'd be hard pressed to not give their death, lay some of the blame on Billy's doorstep. I don't think some of them you might be able to stretch and say maybe, but he certainly fired shots with the intent to kill and probably hit him a couple of times. Who knows?
It's possible. My Bernstein. So again, my weakness with remembering names is going to get me again. But I think we've pretty much can say that Billy was not responsible for Bernstein. Was it Sanchez, Martinez, Spurlock?
Atanasio Martinez.
Is it okay? Okay. So yeah, I think I feel pretty certain we can lay that Bernstein's death not at Billy's feet. I think that
Right.
was, I
Which,
guess Burns started that. I think.
well, yeah, and there was an editorial sent in to the newspaper at the time that the killing happened. Just a few days later, that Maurice Fulton
Mhm.
speculated was probably McSween writing the editorial. And they knew about the killing. They knew what happened, and they said it was Atanasio Martinez, and that Martinez was willing to um, give himself up or whatever was involved if there was due process guaranteed and everything. And James Mills might know more about that, but I remember when I read that, Mills has a book coming out on the guy or on a few of those folks, and I messaged him and I was like, "Do you think that he killed Bernstein?" And Mills was like, "Yeah." So, uh, you know, I think it's probable that it was Martinez who shot Bernstein.
Okay. So yeah,
Hmm.
I didn't really think of Bernstein when I was coming up with my list just for that reason. Um, I don't know.
It's really funny. I have I've transcribed a bunch of letters from and to Fort Stanton, and when Bernstein died, they kind of tapped into some drama going on there at the agency, and kind of intimated that it was possibly Godfrey who shot Bernstein during the whole confusion, because Bernstein had gone to Godfrey and was mad at him for going. Godfrey had gone to Dudley and complained about the agency beef rations,
Mhm.
and Bernstein confronted him about it, and they had words. And Godfrey basically said, like, nobody talks to me like that, and lives. And then just a few short days later, he was dead.
Sometimes the crossfire will get you. But
Yeah.
yeah, and as a project on the Bernstein topic, we looked into that a while back. Me and Jerry did, and he's buried in Santa Fe, um,
Huh.
in a portion of the Mason Cemetery there. I don't think he has a headstone though. That's an interesting thing to consider in the future. But yeah, his death and burial is recorded there in Santa Fe, so that'll be
Hmm.
something interesting to look into.
But the Seven Rivers members, I think there was four killed in Lincoln by the regulators. I think one of those was Segovia. Josh, what do you know?
Segovia is the only one that I can think of that wasn't
It's the only one I
killed
know
by
of.
them. Yeah.
I know Charlie Crawford was killed in Lincoln. I don't think he was a Seven Rivers guy, but
I know.
he was killed. Dutch Charlie was Dutch Charlie one. Who was winged by Herrera?
So Just Charlie was Co.
Herrera was Crawford then,
Maybe
right?
that was
Hmm.
Crawford. Okay, maybe that's who it was connected. Yeah, Herrera was connected to Crawford and Co. Yeah, I think you're right.
So I wonder the Seven Rivers members. Trying to think of who that would be. Declan, if you have specific names,
Yeah,
kind of help jog our memory, but uh, nothing's coming to
actually,
mind.
yeah, especially in Lincoln specifically, if that's what he was meaning. I can't, other than the two that we mentioned, which are basically, long shots. Yeah, I'm not recalling any in Lincoln, but God knows I can't remember half of half of what I've read or done. So
I
maybe I'm
know.
not thinking. Uh, Jeremiah, what's getting back to McCloskey and Morton and Baker? That certainly has been your hot button for 6 months or so. What any likelihood you think that Billy was directly related to them? And what about McCloskey? Because he was recorded as saying, running his mouth and White hearing it. Do you think he's responsible for that death, or what are your thoughts?
No, I don't think anybody can really put McCluskey's death on Billy. I mean, whether he was emotionally supportive of it, who will know? But as far as pulling the trigger or firing shots, I don't think anybody can really lay blame on McCluskey. But certainly Morton and Baker, absolutely. I mean, I think the scholarly consensus is that he probably fired rounds, at least probably most, if not all, the regulators did in the pursuit of them. Once McCluskey was dead, I think it was pandemonium broke out.
Yeah.
I think that's fair. I think there's a Patterson and Green. I don't know. That's not jiggling
Right.
anything to
There's
me.
James.
No, and that's half the time when we talk about this, like I don't know, like core topics like this, like how many people did Billy kill? I often feel like an idiot because I've spent so much time. I can tell you like specific dates that, Secret Service agent Wild showed up on Fort Stanton on, December 4th, 1880. And I'm like, I don't know how many people we killed. We get back to these normal topics and I'm like, what?
I know. It's you're right. You kind of stop going over the basic stuff and you tend to forget it over all the minute details.
Yeah. Dawson
No, I was
messaged me
just
the other day and we
sorry.
were talking about, what door Bell came out of at the courthouse after he got shot. And it's just like, I'm like, man, I'm not sure. Like it's been, I've been spending so much time in these dark corners of Billy history that it's like I've
Mhm.
forgotten a lot of the
Well,
basics.
the interesting, if you study the history of the courthouse, is the door that he came out of doesn't exist anymore.
Really?
Yeah, the stairs, at least the bottom of the staircase, have been since remodeled. So the door that he would have come out doesn't exist. It's actually around the corner from the existing exit where he would have come out. So that door doesn't exist anymore in the rear of the courthouse. Josh, you are probably more knowledgeable about I am on this subject. Disagree?
No, that's my understanding of it as well. When the remodel was done, I'm not certain. I mean, I would assume that door was modified or changed. In the
Turn of
late
the
20s.
century. I don't know. I think I want to say the 30s, maybe. I could be way
Yeah,
off.
yeah. So the main reno that we all see, was in the early 30s, I think. But I'd be interested to know when that changed because we've got some photos. The one on the hilltop looking down, and you can see that door, and that photo was in 1886. So I guess I would have to look and do some comparisons and try and connect it because that side of the courthouse is fairly well documented. So I'm not positive. I have heard that, but I would have to. I guess Billy Roberts' book on the courthouse may answer that question. I'd have to read it again.
Yeah, I'd have to look at it,
I,
but I
I,
know that it was changed.
I've yet to read that book. I really need to. I'm interested to see what all has changed like that. I had no idea. I thought that door was still there.
The Billy Roberts book, where we do a lot of book reviews. It was okay. The first chapter or two, he does a really in depth research of the bullet holes in the wall, trying to see whether we can tie that to Billy or not. That's really good. Me personally, that was the highlight of the book. That was really informative. A lot of stuff in there I didn't know. If I remember right, I read it literally the night I got it in Lincoln, and I haven't touched it since. But if I remember right, I think the consensus is we can date it all the way back to the 20s, and then after
Yeah.
that, it gets kind of foggy.
Yeah.
His diagrams are awesome. The illustrations in it are really good. I
I thought it
personally
was a great book.
really, I found it a little dry. It was not one of my favorites. I was kind of expecting a little more. I was surprised that the content of McSween being on the deeds and owning it at one point in time, that was kind of skipped over. Some of the early history of the courthouse, I was a little bummed that wasn't discussed. Let's dance around this. Whether it was a legit investigation or not, I was surprised that all the stuff that was done at the courthouse in 2004 with all the CSI stuff, none of that was addressed or mentioned. Which maybe there's a reason why it was not addressed or mentioned. I don't know, but it was okay. Like I said, the illustrations alone make it worth it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I mean, for all the folks coming to Lincoln, they'll be able to buy the book there.
Yeah,
That's fair.
They
And
sell
yeah,
it.
Mario, we'll take you. We'll go through the courthouse, and you'll get to see where the stairs are now. I mean, it hasn't been modified significantly. It's more the exit that has changed a little bit where it would connect with the back.
And we could point out where the landing was, where the stairs kind of went perpendicular,
Hmm.
that kind
Yeah.
of thing.
Yeah, I mean, there's the staircase, the exit's modified a little bit. I really wish they would go back and put the walls up again upstairs, like it was in Billy's time, dividing
Oh yeah,
Garrett's office, the room Billy was kept in, what was Murphy's quarters, which later became the sheriff's quarters, etc. Because if you've been in there now, it's all one big, open, huge room, and then they've got it set up like the courthouse. So, I wish they would go back and put those walls back up to recreate that setup. But
absolutely.
the fact that you can still go stand in the corner where Billy's room was, and look out the window. There's a top 3 chilling moments for me. I can't think of it, that standing in that window looking down would have to be one of them. It's just a surreal feeling for anybody that's not got to do that yet.
Yeah, Kristen, it was the rear door. There was a rear entrance exit that went the back towards the stables where Goss was, is where he left out of, or stumbled out of, I should say.
Right. So, yeah. So yeah, we'll definitely include all that in it as well. Lots of fun stuff.
There was I was just reading an account in the newspaper, and I'll have to go see who it was who said it. It might have been Garrett or someone connected in that sense, but they were saying that on the day Billy escaped, uh, Bell had taken him out for an airing, and on their way back in, Bell had stopped to talk with Goss, and Billy went on in and was headed on up, and that's what gave Billy the time to get a gun um, from the armory. But that Bell was outside talking with Goss and delayed him a bit, and I'm thinking, if that's the case, the whole idea of Goss being an accessory would make a little more sense. If Goss was like, I'm going
Yeah.
to hold him up for a bit. But like, that's the first time I'd ever heard of Bell stopping to talk to somebody.
Yeah, no, that's the only thing I've heard of. Of course, like you said, that does contradict Goss's statement that
Hmm.
he was, not present, and I guess back in his room or whatnot, and heard the gunshots. But then again, if I was Goss and I was an accessory to it, and I had help, that's probably exactly what I would have told the reporters too, and Garrett too, when they asked for my statement.
Yeah.
So yeah, it makes sense, but it also makes sense why Goss would lie about it. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Do either one of y'all think we'll ever figure it out? You think there's ever any knowing, or do you think this is as good as it gets?
With enough, no, I'm not going to say it. Go ahead, Jeremiah.
Don't do it. Don't use the
I
L
was just
word.
going to say, with enough luminol, anything's
God
possible.
damn it, you said it.
As a little added treat, when we're in the courthouse, we'll debunk any crime scene investigative efforts that have gone into blood spatter analysis at the courthouse, but we'll save that for an on-site discussion. Every time I think, man, there could be nothing out there, we uncover something. I think the truth may be sitting in somebody's chest or an attic or in a yard sale, and we just don't know. So yeah, man, I'm hopeful.
Amazing.
I think the answer's out there.
Hmm.
We just got to find it.
It's
Uh,
so amazing to think
yeah.
that, and that it's probably true that,
Hmm.
like look at all we've seen, the different letters that we've seen come out recently. Another bill of sale, a letter to Wallace, a letter to Ilfeld, and it's like these are things people are just hanging on to. They're in collections, trunks. What will
They
be
don't know
found
what
at a
they
yard
have.
sale, like you said. Yeah,
And I think the timing's right for it, because I was thinking about it the other day, and basically I think we're seeing a lot of this because this older generation that was into this stuff in the 40s and 50s when the Cowboys were big, and they're dying off now. I mean, that's how we have come across what the last 3 items that we've discussed has been, people passing on and handing it off to family members that want to talk about it. So, I think, this next decade or so, I think is going to really be big as far as finding new things. Because again, you've got our generation that's inheriting this stuff now that wants to do something with it. So
Yep.
yeah, I mean, whether we'll ever know exactly about the courthouse, I don't know. But semi-famous, pseudo-famous YouTuber a few years back said there was nothing left to discover about Billy the Kid, and I think pretty much on a weekly basis we proved that not to be true, even if it doesn't get talked about on the show. I mean, James, you and I were just talking about the stuff you found on Bell in a 1915 article yesterday. So I don't know. I think it's interesting that I went back and which I don't really want to give away all of it now because I was going to do an interesting article on it or something, or a YouTube show on it. But, there at the courthouse during Billy's escape is the first time that it's referenced that Billy slips his cuffs. And just in general, like, the big hit wrist, small hand, or big hands, small wrist. Do I got that right? No, I got that reversed. Big wrist, small hands narrative. Sorry. Because I started looking into that way back when we were trying to debunk all the Brushy stuff when Brushy made that claim, and I was like, well, where did that claim come from? And the first source you're going to find it is when Garrett talks about it in his book, that Billy was up the staircase looking down at Bell's body out the window, which that window's still there. You can still look out that window, and he said Billy slipped his cuffs. Well, first off, how the hell did he know that, seeing nobody was in the courthouse but Billy? So that tells me that was just a narrative that Garrett spun to try and sell whatever it was that was going on. I'm not saying there was a conspiracy behind why he would say that, but very clearly he had to paint some kind of story to give to people to justify why his deputies were so incompetent. So,
Josh, there, and I might be making this up, and I know I'm not, but I might be confusing my book here, but there's a story, and I believe it's in the Juan Patron book by Sopanis, or I may be mispronouncing his name. And he tells the story of when Billy was held at the Patron house during the Dudley Court of Inquiry, that one of the parlor tricks Billy would do is he would slip his cuffs off for people and play cards, and he put his cuffs back on and off, probably because they were just put on loosely for show. But I do recall, I believe it was in that book when he talks about Billy taking his cuffs on and off. James, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I've seen a few people say that, even like maybe Wallace in his newspaper interviews would say that. And I agree, it was probably just because they knew he was under guard on pretense as a witness, and it was just to try to get the people like Jesse Evans to think he was really arrested when he wasn't. The cuffs were probably kind of loose and he would just have fun
That's what
with
I
it.
that's what I attribute to it, is they probably just kept him around for show in case somebody important
Uh,
came by.
Yeah.
That's possible. Billy in that Las Vegas article mentions that when in Las Vegas in December of '80, that was the first time that he'd ever wore bracelets. Now, again, he could have been lying
Good
about
point.
that,
Yeah.
of course. But if that
Maybe
were true, right,
warm for real.
for real, you're right. So, maybe Jeremiah, you're right. Maybe that's true. Maybe he wore them super loose, which actually is a theory I had not thought before. Maybe he wore them super loose at Patron's place, and the whole myth / story, whatever you want to call it, that he could slip his cuffs on and off because he had big wrists. Maybe it derived from that. I don't know. I mean, that's a good point, because just from a human anatomy standpoint, I don't know of anyone that's wrists are so big and their hands are so small that that's possible. I mean, I've seen a few skeletons, and I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, the big wrist, little hands thing, I think, is more a made for TV, myth versus anything. But the slipping of the cuffs, I think that's probably where it comes from. And Garrett's book probably just helps perpetuate that myth too. But I don't think it was a real thing that he could slip out of cuffs that were appropriately applied. I don't think that's a real thing.
Yeah, because if that were the case and it was known like that, then why were different precautions not made? So I don't know. Interesting point though, but that's as far back as I've traced it. James, you look like you're being inspired.
Yeah, I'm looking for an image of Billy that you can kind of tell he has smaller hands than wrists. So it may clear it up, while we're talking about it. There we go. So
That's exactly what I was envisioning. Yeah.
That's it's that situation right there is about the only way I can visualize such a thing. So,
I think that image was from one of Cedar Wall's books, right?
stop. I'm out. I should have never said it. I should have never started it.
Should have not done it. Uh, but yeah, that's did they say, hopefully somebody can steer us in another direction. You're rolling a boy.
They did say Billy looked more like a girl than a boy. I'll put boy there, even though it says goy. Yeah. And I've actually used that. I had an idea. I thought it would be a cool idea to do for a novel. Not that I believe this at all, but you know how a lot of girls would dress up to go fight in the Civil War and stuff like that. You do this story where Billy was really a girl, and and that's what when they shoot Billy in the end, Pat Garrett and McKinney and them, they find out that he was really a girl, and that's why later Poe says we kind of changed the story to protect the integrity of a woman. They're talking about Billy, and I thought that would be cool. Cool little twist.
Interesting
But
novel.
it would be like, oh, he really thinks that, and it's like, no, obviously not. But
so that would put a whole new spin on Paulita and their relationship.
Well, no, he was in Pete's bedroom.
Oh,
see.
Oh, Pete, you dog.
Yes.
well,
Makes perfect sense.
well,
yeah.
Simply insulting the rednecks may be enough for the show. I don't think we need. Let's try to avoid direction this might go. Let's just leave it to the hillbillies and rednecks for today. But yeah, Pete, you dog. That's an interesting perspective.
Yeah, absolutely.
James, I feel like I'm drowning here. What else do we got?
I think we've covered it. I mean,
Right.
Safe to say Billy probably killed 4 people. Is that right on his own?
Yeah, I think that's solid. Nobody's arguing that.
Yeah, and and being involved in the other killings, but it's nowhere near 21. And I think even Pat, when he was interviewed after killing him, Pat was like, he only killed 11 that I can definitely verify. And I'm like thinking, how could Pat definitely verify 11? But I don't know. Maybe Pat knew things we didn't. But
I doubt it.
Misty, that's okay. I'm right in the middle of redneck and hillbilly country, so I'm talking about my own folks there.
That's West Virginia.
But unless you want to keep,
before we close this,
come on. Go ahead, Jeremiah.
No,
before
we close this thing out, let's do my cola leader. Let's do a quick book check. You boys, tell me what you're reading and why you're reading it. What's it got?
Okay.
James.
I'm reading 2 things right now. I'm rereading Nolan's Lincoln County War book, and I've just started that a photo I shared the other day, Richard O'Connor's book on Pat Garrett. I guess it's like a 1960s book, more fiction than fact probably, but you never know when you read those old books, you might come across a little tidbit of info that actually has something to it that has been forgotten or overlooked. So it's good to cover that old ground again.
Nice. Josh, what are you reading?
Well, as coincidence would have it, Nolan's Lincoln County War book has been about the only thing book-wise that I've looked at in about a week. And again, it's so comprehensive that I usually tend to just pick it up when I'm searching out something specific. I kind of miss the days where I could just sit down and read a book from cover to cover, because I honestly cannot tell you the last time that I've actually just sat down and read a book for enjoyment. So I just skip around a lot, man. I wish I had more time to just do that. Oh, I know. Well, there you go. Let's plug it again. That's what I'm reading right now, boys.
Didn't see that coming.
Actually, and then again, I'm actually not saying this to plug our memberships, but I find myself rereading the quiz books, Alan Barker's quiz books a lot. That Kid Quiz 2 book, he has about a 20-page section on the Diedrich family that's really, really good. You're not going to find that information anywhere else from any other historian. So that's another. In fact, I've got it sitting beside my bed. So that's kind of where I'm at. But again, I wish I had more time just to sit down and pick a book up and focus on it. What about you?
What about you?
Well, I just, I'm in the midst of about to finish reading David Thomas's The Frank Angel Report book, which is a phenomenal read. It's incredibly informative. For me, there's two kinds of books out there. There are books that I read for joy that are just very engaging, and there's books that just I keep because they're a wealth of knowledge. And I think David Thomas's book falls in that wealth of knowledge. It's essential for any Billy the Kid collector. I think he probably has produced to me the most knowledge packed Billy the Kid book, which was Billy the Kid's Grave, or to me it was the most information packed book on Billy the Kid out there.
Yeah, his Pat Garrett book. I mean, just it blew me away how packed with information it was.
It's funny that you mentioned that. It's gonna blur it out. Yeah. Anyways, that's I've got it on my desk. I have not read it. It's on my list. It's in my stack. But yeah.
It's great. It's so good. If nothing else, just focus on the chapter where he explains Garrett's death. He debunks a lot of the conspiracy stuff. It's great. I think his Grave book is the best one, followed by his trial book, but the Garrett book is definitely up there.
Trial book is great too. I don't think there's anybody out there that maybe living or dead that has ever known more about the life of Pat Garrett than David Thomas.
Right. Metz, of course, was kind of, his predecessor. And then, of course, Metz lived in El Paso and David's in Las Cruces. So that's a 30-minute drive. So I know they communicated a lot. We're really close. So I think he kind of took the reins after, Leon, certainly the last few years when Leon was suffering from Alzheimer's and whatnot. So, yeah, he's definitely the authority now. I think he's doing a book. I talked to him the other day. He's doing a book on the history of Messia right now. So I think that's the current project. He actually will circle back to the convention real quick. He is one of the at least 3 authors and speakers that we're going to have there. David Thomas will come. He's going to be on our guest panel. He'll speak. He'll answer questions. David's really good about bringing a lot of books every time he comes. So he does book signings. So if there's anything from David Thomas that you want signed, he'll be there for that. Roy Young will be the other one with his book, which his Chasing Billy the book. By the way, we're still suing him for copyright issues, but whatever. He's going to bring his and do a book signing. John Lee May will be there as well with, I don't know, John, what are you at, like 55 or 60 books now? I don't know.
Just this month.
Just this month.
I don't know how he writes so much.
He's got a book on
I don't either.
It's an unreal. He's got a book on Haunted Lincoln coming out that we talked about the other day that he'll have out by then. A book on John Chisholm. Hope I'm allowed to say that. If not, sorry. That'll be out around that time. On that note, I forgot some other really good news that I was going to talk about. Sorry, real quick. We'll wrap it up with this.
It's historically accurate.
Historically accurate. So the Billy the Kid gift shop in Messia bought out.
Is this something you're allowed to share, by the way?
Yes, it is. It is. I actually saw the flyer and I asked. I am allowed to share this. There is a flyer floating around. Because I specifically asked, I'm like, can I talk about this? But yeah, the Billy the Kid gift shop is opening up business, and they're opening up a gift shop and a store in Lincoln at, I believe, the old Arrowhead spot, which is right beside the Torion. So that's really big news. The gift shop that they have in Messia is huge.
So this is going to be the same gift shop that's in Messia, the same owners, or is this the one in Fort Sumner?
No, this is the one in Messia where the courthouse was, where he was held. It's pretty touristy. I mean, it's definitely. Somebody take James away from the controls.
That wasn't me.
Ever. Well, I'm not smart enough
James,
to
can
do
you
it,
not?
James.
James, can't you be professional for just a little bit while we
Please.
wrap the show up?
Damn it,
People
Jeremiah.
Sunday evening, James. So that's opening up. That's great news because Lincoln does not have anything.
Right there. Read that, folks. Read that. I'm the face of Billy the Kid, Jeremiah.
Stop telling your friends to send comments in, James. All right, I'm
Your
done.
face comes to mind when I think of a lot of things, James.
Show us the picture, Jeremiah. Show them the Supreme Leader James picture.
Do you have that handy?
Oh God. Oh, hold on. Damn it! It just blocks me out. We'll
That's
just throw
right.
it on the
It's
website. Don't
censored.
worry. I'll make
Yeah,
that
we'll
my
just-
backdrop
Oh,
next time.
fantastic.
Y'all,
I don't even know what you were talking about, Josh.
I give up. I don't even care anymore.
No, but that's really cool that the gift shop is coming to Lincoln. That's awesome.
Yeah. So they'll have that. They'll carry our journals and all of our stuff. So that's good news for everybody.
Yes.
I feel like we need to stop before one of you two ass clowns do something else and disparage the name of the coalition any further.
Well, if David Thomas is listening, I know he watches every now and then. I want to ask him where Pat Garrett was in 1899. I know you and I were talking about that the other day, Josh, that Beaver Smith died in Las Cruces in 1899. And I know Pat was there in 1900. And I'm wondering if those two synced back up at that time. And perhaps that could offer us maybe some information. Maybe Beaver's buried on a private ground somewhere where Pat was or something.
That's a great question. I forgot to ask David that. He does always watch the shows. I know he doesn't watch them live, so I'm going to tell him to watch it and see what he thinks. Because we've got Beaver leaving the Rusk unit in East Texas. And
Yeah,
year, do you remember 80?
It was like 1887, maybe, or something like that.
So I mean, there's there's a few years between the two, but East Texas and El Paso or Las Cruces is a long way off. So I would have to think there'd be something to motivate me to go there. And considering Garrett and Beaver, were on good terms previously, I don't know.
Yep,
it's a shot. So yeah, let's see what he says about it. Maybe we can talk about it on the next episode.
Yep, and I think that wraps it up. I know Andrew Haley had said you're not including the Indians he had killed when you're talking about the number. And other than Ash Upson's wild stories, I'm not aware of any factual or credible sources that talk about any Indians Billy may have killed. So my number at that would be 0 Indians. And he also asked, did he not kill Beckwith? And no, I don't think he did. That was attributed to him because he was the legend. But I think if you read the Dudley Court of Inquiry and dig into a lot of primary sources, you'll find really they probably don't know who killed him, but I don't think it was. There it is, Comrade Cardigan. Look at that. So,
and it's beautiful.
The story behind this picture, and yes, we should sell this on the coalition page if we don't already.
Look at that face. Tell them who this resembles.
We're all sitting around the table at Steve Cedarwall's house, and we're talking, and Steve has snapped a picture, and I'm like biting my lip or something right when the picture snapped, and we're looking at the picture, and I say, why do I look like I forget but Jeremiah says I look like Supreme Leader, some North Korean dictator tyrant. So I made that propaganda poster, Comrade Cardigan.
Well, which would not be a bad name for a band if you start another band. Now that I think about it,
that's right.
I blew it up and framed it and keep it in my office. In case I'm needing motivation, I just
look at it.
What would the comrade do?
Oh hell,
yeah. What would our Supreme Leader do? He never falters. He never gives up.
Let's be real here, James. We know what you would do.
Yeah. DB asked if I'm a Bolshevik. Better than a Menshevik, my friend.
Oh, all right. I'm tired of
Well,
talking to you guys.
boys.
This is gotten out of hand. I'm done.
Yeah, we've jumped a shark.
All right. Y'all have any ideas? Not you clowns, but anybody watching have any ideas for future pre-recorded episodes? Put them in the comments. Anything y'all want to see, talk about, sites y'all want to visit, look at, see photos of, drop them in the comments or shoot us emails or post it on Facebook or something. Again, we're here for you guys. Anything y'all want to see. Hopefully between the three of us, we can figure it out. So anyways, that's all I got. I'm done.
Yeah, and if we can't figure it out, we'll definitely make some jokes.
Yeah. I'm done.
No, Paul, I don't think James Mills from Australia will be able to make it. Wish he could. Maybe we can get him to video call or something. That would be cool if we get him video call in sometime.
That's a good idea. Maybe we can do a
yeah,
video thing where you can answer questions.
that would be awesome.
Yeah, that actually would be. Amy's got good Wi-Fi. Aaron's got a projection screen. Maybe we can do that. It would be a lot of fun.
All right.
Cool.
Well, let's wrap it up. It's been an hour and
Thanks.
20 minutes of our shenanigans. We appreciate everybody for tuning in, and we'll just leave you with this authentic image of the handcuff slipper.
Y'all take care.
And y'all take care. Send us your topics. We love it. Thanks a lot.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.